This is the Dean Trailways fifth quarter.
I'm Fred Heumann at the Final Four in Indianapolis, where, you know, when you're a reporter covering this event, it's all work and no play, of course. We have a lot coming up for you on this Friday and the fifth quarter. The Spartans practiced today. There was a pep rally tonight. We'll have an interview with President Luana Simon. We'll have an interview with former Spartan Chris Hill. Lots of it coming up. Audrey Dahlgren joins me from here in Indy. So stay tuned for the fifth quarter. Giddy up, horsey!
Yep, that's Uncle Fred horsing around at the Final Four. I have to work with that guy, you guys. This is the fifth quarter Final Four edition. I'm your host without a horse, Kevin Gale. Sort of feels like Christmas Eve in Spartan Nation. Tip-off between MSU and Duke now just 19 hours away. We've got all the best coverage from Indy tonight. Our team has been on the scene since Wednesday, so consider this your pregame primer for the national semifinals. Earlier today, the Spartans held a 1-hour open practice at Lucas Oil Stadium featuring their traditional dunk contest. Always fun to watch. Brandon Dawson, but it's 6-foot guard Travis Trice who has the surprising hops on this team. Tom Izzo has a closed-door practice scheduled tomorrow, but today's session for all four teams hosted more than 25,000 fans. Never before have that many people attended a Final Four practice. It was an easy drive for the fan bases from MSU and undefeated Kentucky. It's Final Four number 7 for Coach Izzo, who was asked today if superstition gets him through these tense tournament weekends.
You love we against the world. Is there any of that to this team, or are you past that?
You're trying to ruin my press conference, I think. You know, I'm past that. I mean, because I've seen, you know, I'm a victim of a 7 seed beating us and winning a national championship. I've been here with different kinds of seeded teams. I don't think the seeding as much matters anymore. I mean, a 1 seed is a 1 seed, and I have all the respect for them, but I'm excited to be here. I don't care about the seed. I've never cared about the seed. I've been a 1 seed and been beaten. So that's not so great either. Just maybe helps you at the first game so far. But I think nowadays there's getting to be more pressure on that 1 seed playing a 16. And sooner or later it's going to happen. So I'll just maybe stay as a 2 and up from now on, or 2 and down.
Izzo loves Indy. This will be his third Final Four appearance in the basketball crazy capital of Indiana. He won his 2000 national title at the RCA Dome, later replaced by this beautiful Lucas Oil Stadium, where his team will face top-seeded Duke on Saturday. Okay, time to bring in Fred Heumann. He's been with Izzo for 6 Final Fours, and he joins us now from Indianapolis.
All right, big day here at the Final Four, the Friday before the semifinal games. Always a busy day. The Spartans practice today at the Dome. In fact, all 4 teams practice at Lucas Oil Stadium. A pep rally tonight. You heard from Sherry Jones earlier in this newscast about that. And at that pep rally, I caught up with MSU's biggest fan, President Luana Simon. Gather and engage is Mark Hollis's big MO, and that's what they're doing here too, isn't it?
They are. It's pretty extraordinary. I just wish that Mark could have driven that race car in. It's still parked at Monument Circle. I was giving a hard time about that.
Only he would do that, huh?
Well, you know, they had 1 for every team, so.
Oh, did they really?
Yeah, there's 1 for every team, and so he got to be with ours when we met the team.
Just address for me once more about the leader that Tom Izzo is for this school.
You know, he's fundamentally a leader-teacher who's also a coach. People feel good about being a part of Michigan State because of him.
Just between us, if he wins another one, you won't have enough money to pay him.
We'll be okay.
And there's one of the Indy cars right in front of me that Mark Hollis rode into town in. I guess, as the president said, all of the teams got at least one of those Indy cars. All right, Audrey Dahlgren standing by. She was at the Spartans practice today, and she has more on the highly motivated team to win one for the coach. Audrey?
Fred, Tom Izzo is 1-8 all-time against Duke and Mike Krzyzewski, and the players today said that their main motivation is the fact that Tom Izzo has talked about how he wants to break this streak come tomorrow night. Now, the players say that they are also motivated for this matchup because not a single member on this year's roster has beaten Duke in their tenure.
That's big motivation because that many losses to, you know, I mean, they're a great team though, and they have great history, but we fear no one.
I mean, he's talked about it a couple times. You know, I don't think he's happy, you know, having a losing record to him. But I mean, I think we just got to go out and do the same thing we've always done, you know, since the beginning of the season.
Really, a lot. All his coach has been talking about, you know, his record against Duke, and you know, we're kind of, you know, still, you know, upset about how we lost to him, you know, in the beginning of the season. We had some opportunities to beat him, and you know, we didn't take the chances, and we're very excited and very anxious to play them.
The Spartans say the winning formula to getting past Duke is limiting turnovers, because the last time the Spartans faced Duke in Indianapolis, they forced 13 turnovers that turned into 24 points, which Tom Izzo likes to say, turnovers for touchdowns. Fred, back to you.
All right, Audrey, I'm sure all the players would like to win one for their coach, and probably the coach would too, of course. All right, much more coming up later in the show. We'll chat with 2005 Spartan team member Chris Hill, who went to the Final Four with Tom Izzo. That and much more coming up later in this show. For now, from Indianapolis with Audrey Dahlgren, I'm Fred Heumann, 6 Sports.
Were Fred and Audrey telling ghost stories? It looked a little eerie in those spotlights. That's only halftime in our Final Four coverage tonight. We have to step aside and pay some bills. But after the break, we go back to Indy, where Brandon Dawson is making good on his Final Four promise from last season. Plus, we'll go one-on-one with Chris Hill from the 2005 Spartan Final Four squad. This year's magical run to the national semifinal has him flashing back to his own unlikely run. In fact, he flew halfway around the world to be in Indy this weekend. His story up next in the 5th quarter. Ah, yes, that fight song goes everywhere, just follows us around. Those were the sights and sounds from Michigan State's pep rally earlier today. More than 3,000 fans in green and white packed the convention center in Indianapolis, celebrating the 9th Final Four in school history. And trust me, plenty of other schools would kill for that kind of success. In fact, a lot of schools would kill for just one Final Four. This year's run to the Final Four is kind of a pleasant surprise, just like in 2005. In fact, Fred Heumann met up with one of those Spartans from 2005 earlier today.
Well, hi again from Indianapolis. Fred Heumann with you, with a member of the 2005 Final Four team, Chris Hill, actually from Indianapolis, right?
Here, born and bred, yeah.
And
really.
You came here from France.
Flew in from France to see the Spartans win this Final Four in 2015 here.
We were talking to Tim Bograkis, who was your teammate the other night, about the similarities that 05 team and this team. Similar runs, right?
Oh, super similar, yeah. Timmy and I talked about it just last week, about how much, you know, we can relate to this team going through the struggles and having some criticism, coming in as a higher seed and then, you know, making an improbable run like this. That, you know, I really feel, you know, a connection to this team, because it kind of mirrors what we did in 2005.
What do you make of this Izzo 7 Final Fours?
Not too bad, is it? I think we all, you know, the Spartan family, and we know how special of a coach, you know, that we have. But it's pretty incredible, the you know, the record that he boasts, you know, especially in March, and the Final Fours that we've been to is it's incredible.
So you were following them from France?
Absolutely, yeah. And with a 6-hour time difference, some of those night games are hard to stay up for. But I did, just because you know, this time of year, you know that something special is bound to happen with Michigan State.
Great to see you. Thanks for your time.
I appreciate it. Great to be here.
Chris Hill of the 2005 championship team from right here in Indianapolis. Kevin, back to you.
All right, thanks, Fred. And I think I heard Mrs. Trice screeching in the background there. Final Four is the expectation at Michigan State. That's why the 2014 seniors were so heartbroken. So far, they're the only senior class under Tom Izzo that failed to play on the final weekend. After that Elite Eight loss in Madison Square Garden last year, Brandon Dawson told me the chase for a Final Four might be enough for him to skip the NBA draft and return to MSU for his senior year. Now, 1 year later, BJ delivered on that promise and reached his long-awaited goal.
It's really amazing. This whole journey that I've been on with my teammates, our coaches, and it's really been great. It's something that as far as being a seniors division, dreaming about just going to this like Grant Hill State that when he was 10 years old, he watched Final Fours when he was little. So last year being that we were so close, I think just coming here for the second time, I think it's a blessing. Just being in the position we are right now.
Dawson's been standing tall in his final march to glory, matched by fellow senior Travis Trice. He was named most outstanding player in the tournament's East region. To keep this Cinderella story going, the Spartans need an upset win over Duke on Saturday. And luckily for MSU, no coach in tournament history has more wins over higher seeds than Tom Izzo. It's time to go back to Indy now with our Six Sports team on the scene.
All right, back we are here in Indianapolis, site of the Final Four, one of the scenic happening places and one of the landmarks here in downtown Indy. Audrey Dahlgren's our happening girl. And Audrey, you caught up with two parents at the Spartans practice today that are two of the proudest parents in the Final Four.
That's right. Travis Trice's parents have a lot to be excited about, especially with Michigan State's recent run to the Final Four. It's been an up and down journey for both Travis Trice and Michigan State's basketball team, but they say they're just elated to be a part of this magical run.
This is what everybody dreams of as a player and as a coach, and especially as a dad when you have a son that's out there, performing. So the atmosphere is unbelievable. Our kids came in and they got us. This is a practice, and it's just packed. So it's a once in a lifetime kind of dream.
What about you, Mom?
This is crazy. I never doubted, not one time, that this team was going to make it here this weekend. Hashtag Indy 2015 has been there, as well as hashtag Watch God Work, and that's exactly what's happened over the course of the entire season.
At one point in the season, Tom Izzo even said that they didn't know if Travis Trice would even be alive at this point a couple of years ago. So it definitely is a blessed feeling for him. He's always wanted to get to a Final Four, and now he's here.
Magical story and magical parents. Thanks for sharing that, Audrey. All right, caught up with another guy at practice today who's a happening guy. He's MSU's longtime band director, John Madden, who's playing the tunes all the time with this Spartan team, and even louder here at the Final Four. I know Coach Izzo appreciates when the band is here. I mean, that adds to the game.
Listen, you guys should see, we come home on those charter flights, and after those games, Tom comes to the back of the plane where the band is sitting, and he talks to him for 5 minutes. Thanks for what you guys do. I mean, it's sincere. So we all know that about Tom Izzo, but the kids feel it, and they'll take a bullet for the guy.
All right, that's the story here from Indianapolis. The games are tomorrow. Michigan State plays at 6:09 in Indianapolis. For Audrey Dahlgren, I'm Fred Heumann, Six Sports.
And as a former drum major for the Amador Valley High School Band, I appreciate that band love, Coach Izzo. That's our coverage from Indy tonight. Stay with Six Sports throughout the weekend for all your Spartan post-game reaction beginning tomorrow night on 6 News at 11. There's still more to come here on the fifth quarter. We'll preview tomorrow's spring game at U of M, hopefully if we have time. Plus, Miggy proves he's back to full strength after off-season surgery. That's next. Stay with us. Welcome back. We're running out of time. Michigan spring football game tomorrow at noon. Pistons lose in Chicago tonight. Final home game for the Tigers down at spring training in Florida. And I'd say Miggy is ready for the regular season. That's a 2-run bomb to left. Ian Kinsler adds 3 hits of his own, but the Tigers lose 11-5. They'll meet the Rays again in Tampa tomorrow before flying home for opening day in Detroit on Monday at 1 p.m. That's all we have time for on the fifth quarter. I'm Kevin Gale. Thanks for joining us. And don't forget, you can see our March to Glory special again from the Final Four tomorrow from 5 to 6 on WLNS before flipping over to MSU and Duke at 6:09. We'll leave you tonight with the Slammin' Spartans. Who says you can't have a little work and play at the Final Four? Thanks for joining us, folks. We'll see you next time.